Hi everyone, it's Burgess. Since it's autumn, I thought we could try painting a maple leaf. I've done the drawing already, and I'll put uh, a picture of this drawing up on the screen so you can take a screenshot of it if you wish. If you have access to a maple leaf, you could always just um, you trace around it, which is a really good idea, I think. But since I don't have access to maple leaves, I'm sort of making do with using photos on the internet and getting a picture down. So what I'm doing here is just wetting down the whole leaf, because this is going to be a wet into wet painting. So we're just going to put the colors down once the whole leaf is wet, and we'll try and keep it as wet as we can so that we can put as many colors down as possible. We'll be using sort of autumn colors, so the reds and the yellows, the oranges and the browns. So you just sit back and watch, and a lot of it's self-explanatory, but maybe I might say something just to add to it. So I'm just trying to make sure it's actually wet, because as soon as I wet it, it seems to dry up or something. Okay, so it looks sort of wet enough, I think. Now I'm using camel paints, by Camelin rather, and I'm using those because it's easier to pick them up than having to set up my whole shebang. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with putting down just some yellows in the middle. A yellow. I don't know which yellow this is actually. I'll have to look at the colors, but it's a really bright yellow. It looks like cadmium to me, and And what I'm doing is I'm picking the colors straight off the palette without mixing. You don't need to mix, because what you want is you want to be able to have sort of intense colors, and you want them to be not so watery, otherwise you're going to end up with a bit of a problem when you're trying to do the wet into wet technique. So while that's wet, we can actually go in and take an orange, any bright colors really. That's what we're looking at, some really sort of bright colors here. This is a gamboge, and we can even use some greens as well if we like. And there's a really bright red here, and again I'll have to look at the color. This is scarlet. We can put that in as well. Just dot it in places, because we just want it to sort of merge in, and we're not going for symmetry or anything like that, just putting it in. Put a lot of it on the outside of the leaf here, and along the veins and things. No, I'm not really good at painting these kind of things, so it's really a question of wondering how it's going to turn out. And I'm going to be honest with you, at the moment I'm using a makeshift painting space. I don't have a desk, as you know, and so I'm just sort of working with what I can at the moment. And we can also add some crimson. It's a nice cool color. It's just make it strong in some places. At the bottom here, perhaps. I want to tell you something that there's lots of people who want to start painting and feel that oh, I must buy loads of supplies and expensive brushes and things. And whilst it has merits, getting expensive supplies and things, but if you can't afford it, just use whatever you can. I mean, look, YouTube videos, creating YouTube videos can be sort of costly because you're using all your art supplies, and if you're not making any money, then you're basically just using your expensive art supplies like paper and things to create videos, and the only return you're getting is views, maybe some likes, but you're not making any money from it, so you're not getting any returns, financial returns. So as a YouTuber, I feel that I want to use, I hate to say this, but cheaper supplies, if you will, because it's just more cost effective. But I do choose supplies that do perform. I mean, they're not going to be really bad, like printer paper or anything like that. So what I'm doing here with the crimson is I'm actually lining the leaf with it, because it seems to work that way. Now, if you find that the leaf is getting dry, the parts are getting dry, you can take a damp brush and wet it down again, and just keep adding. And we can add more oranges. We can even add burnt sienna. We just mix the burnt sienna up because it came out of the tube and I've squeezed it in. And we can darken the burnt sienna with a bit of crimson. But I'm also going to add a little bit of burnt umber to it as well, or even black. Now we've got some burnt umber here. We can add that as well. But the burnt umber needs to be sort of darkened a lot. Now I want to take an orange again. I want to darken the orange with crimson, make it really dark, like so. So we get some really nice juicy colors here. Now since it's autumn, you're going to find things are browning, so don't be afraid to put brown in. Now, burnt sienna is a very good color to use because it's actually the color of a leaf, isn't it? Of a brown leaf. So you can use burnt sienna quite a bit if you like. Now what I want to do is, I've got this this cocktail stick, and I want to put the leaf in, the vein in like that. will go over it and see, now you find that I'm going to go over it in color. Now I want to add some green to it as well, and we're going to use sap green here. Just dot it around. Just to suggest that maybe it's not entirely green yet, sorry, entirely brown yet. We can pop those in. I want to darken that one a bit more, this part of the leaf a bit more. And now it's beginning to dry off, but that's okay now, because now what I want to do is just some stippling. And you can splay the brush out and stipple. And if you find that you've added too much color, you can always sort of lift off some colors just to give it a bit of, there, look, it lifts off very nicely. So you can always lift in some places if you feel that you've gone a bit too, like I did. I think I went a bit too overboard there. I just want to lift some color from some of the centers. Just make sure the brush is dry when you do it. Not dry, damp, but not dripping wet, because then you're going to end up with cauliflowers and things, which is not what you want. And we can always put some back in if we've done a bit too much there. Now what I want to do, I have this little liner type of brush, and with this I'm going to take some very dark, maybe a burnt umber, very, very dark burnt umber. And I'm going to put the veins in. This is not a very good brush. I mean, this is from the Montmartre range. I bought it because it looked pretty, but the set looked nice. But you know, it's God, I always do this. I always buy stuff and end up wishing I hadn't bought it. See, it's not really giving the fine lines that I wanted, but never mind. We can, and I'm not making every line visible. Just. See, it's not getting a point either. Good Lord. Oh, maybe I should change the brush. It's all put away, it's all my stuff, and I have a lot of trouble getting access to it, so I just make do with what I can, really. Now this one, let's try that. Yeah, it's slightly better. This is one I made. Yeah, it's much better, right? See? Ah, dear. Should I tell you to avoid Montmartre stuff? Yeah, let's do it. Don't avoid a lot of their stuff, actually. They're not very good at making paint supplies. That's what I think. Now, I want to go back in with some quite dark color, maybe the burnt umber again, and add burnt sienna to it. And I want to go over some of the sort of edges here, edges of the leaf, like that. And I think I will darken it even further by adding black to it. Now, I'm not afraid of adding black to anything, you know, just add a bit of black to it. And just along the edges, like and make the lines jagged, so it looks like there are those jagged leaf. And finally going to stipple some on the leaf towards the stem. Yeah. Okay, and what I'm going to now do is take a sort of a red, the same red that I use for the leaves, and I'm going to paint the little stem here. Paint that there. Add something towards the end, and just along here we're going to darken it. Just along there, and finally just lift a little bit along there, the edge, towards the other edge. And now we're going to wait for it to dry, and then I'm going to put a shadow under it. Okay, now that it's sort of dry, we'll paint a nice shadow right under it. So what I'm going to do is go right up against the stem of the leaf, under here. And this is a blue I made up. And what we'll do is we'll assume it's sort of coming this way, like that, and that sort of stops along there. Let's just take some of that off. I made this, it looks like Payne's grey, and I actually made it just adding blue and some black. And finally, we can also add it along this part of the leaf, along this way. Yeah, so there we are, is our maple leaf. We can still some of it out. I don't want it too strong either. Here we have our maple leaf. Let me know what you thought of in the comment section. Do have a go. And also, next week my next video I thought I'd do a pumpkin. But if you've got any requests, do leave them in the comment section below of what you'd like me to paint for autumn. Thanks very much for watching. Oh, give this video a thumbs up as well. Thanks very much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you.